How many of you parents and relatives have seen this kind of talk on Facebook that your teenager writes and you can't get them to do the right thing? My name is George, and I deal with this on a constant basis as a communications chief in the Marine Corps, but also as a father and a parent in my own home with social media. So what are the policies that Facebook has? Well, let me read some to you. www.facebook.com/policy.php. I'll just summarize a couple of them for you. Safe Harbor. Facebook complies with EU Safe Harbor framework as set forth by the Department of Commerce regarding the collection of information, use, and retention. This applies to U.S. policies as well, and I'll get to that in a second. Information from children under 13. If a child under 13 tries to apply for a Facebook page, Facebook finds out, they will go ahead and delete that page for you. Parental participation. Facebook strongly recommends teenagers to get their parents' permission. They encourage parents to teach their children about the safe internet practices. 13 is the legal age in Europe. So the United States basically jumped on the bandwagon with that age, and parents are now having to deal with that issue here. Why does Facebook privacy have a problem? Well, Facebook doesn't want to inhibit any of their customers from the age of 13 and above. So since they have that rule, and it's not 17 and below that they have to watch or get parental permission, we run into the issue of a lot of things between 13 and 17. 12 and under, they have to have parents' permission, so they'll have controls, but 13 to 17 they do not. So they feel that trying to infringe upon their rights, those between 13 and 18, is illegal. So again, I feel it's a money and an advertising thing. We all know what's on Facebook. They have like buttons all over the place. That's an advertising thing, and they can do it legally. Issues with parents wanting control. I can only attribute this again to Facebook and the age of 13. That one really bugs me. I feel that 17 and below needs parental consent. But US and European laws allow 13 and above to have these things, so we have to really watch. This thing started out in a college dorm, and it blew up throughout the college community. So the owner at that time sent it and made it global. Not a bad thing once you get used to it. So what are the dangers that are inherent to this Facebook and the parental controls? Well, predators, number one. That's my biggest thing. As a father, knowing how some things have gone here and there are too many people out there that want to be either older or younger than what they are. They have their group they're trying to target, and they're going to do what it takes to get that target. There are websites in the state that will tell you about predators, what to look for, who they are. Parents need to really be on their toes when it comes to all that. Predators is the big thing. Lack of social interaction. This is another one. That physicality between people, we're losing that. Kids are losing that. And we need to make sure they get back into it, or we're going to have drones on our hands. Knee-jerk reaction to posts. Every one of us has seen these back and forth time and time again. You write something, you put an emotion counter, you put an exclamation point, and you figure that the other person on the other end is going to get the content with which the emotion you're trying to put into it. A lot of times that don't happen. The opposite actually happens. When you think you're saying something to try to prove a point, they think you're mad at you. And back and forth, and you never figure it out because you don't pick up the phone, you don't call them, you don't get face to face with them and say, hey, what was that all about? That again gets to point number two, the lack of social interaction. No remorse to their postings. So if they put something out there that's wrong, that's bad, that's rough around the edges, it doesn't seem to faze them. They don't care. They don't say I'm sorry. And that's where we're really getting to. So how can we better this and keep our kids safe? Well, one thing to look at is better controls. Okay? And then better controls, better privacy policies. Now Facebook is not going to change their policy of the age of 13. So how can we do it? Well, as parents we need to be more assertive. These are our house. It's not the children. You paid for the house. You bought the house. You have it. You set the rules. If they break the rules, then you punish them for them rules. Being more assertive. Question your kids and their so-called friends, quote-unquote friends, and find out more about them. Most of the time, kids are alright, but you'll find if your child is talking to someone that they don't want you to know about, that could be the dangerous part. Could be a predator. More parent-friendly policies, which will help keep parents to understand their kids and help with their discipline. Now, that's a big point, because kids will still try to hide things, still try to get things over on parents. So again, we get back to being assertive. You've got to be assertive with your kids. You've got to help them understand. Teaching and preparing our kids for the correct way to act in public and online, and hope they listen. You know, it's one of those things to say some things, hopefully it stays in their brain housing group to go ahead and keep on going. But you have to set the rules and you have to follow through with the punishment. If you don't, that's when you get into trouble. So you prepare them for the social media. It's going to be here to stay. We know that. I'm in the communication business. I see it. I know it's here to stay. So we have to embrace it and move forward. So keep them in contact with their friends. Get them out. Get them to the theater, get them to the bowling alley, skating rink. Some of those things we used to do as kids. Get them out. Have them play with their friends. School projects. Show them the dangers and make sure they stay aware of those dangers. Again, predators are the biggest thing. I can't tackle that enough. Predators are the biggest thing to me. Now that we have tackled the policy problem, let's go ahead and take a look at what the future actually holds for us and our kids. Well, visualize, if you will, the future with the social media. I mean, we've all seen Star Trek and seen some of those futuristic movies, and how computers talk to humans and vice versa. Well, Facebook and other social media are here to stay. Very popular, okay? But again, we get that less physical contact. We got to keep our kids engaged. And there's no fear of retribution when talking through the computer. I could sit here right now and tell people off, and I could really care because you're not here. That's what we're trying to get away from. You get someone face to face, it's hard to say no sometimes, but it can still happen. So teaching, what will this lead to? Well, this class, public speaking, we're teaching online. And this, I feel, is a great forum because you're seeing me speak. I'm watching some of my fellow students speak. Okay, and that's what we want to do, is show ourselves so each of us can help grade each other on our speaking and help us get better. Well, will it still continue to help? If we use this media, it will. But if we go and be drones and type everything, I don't see the benefit in that. So will all teaching be online and emotionless? That's a question we really have to ask each and every one of ourselves. This is not. You see me speaking. You can then tell me how things are going, how I'm doing, what I should do better. But if you're just going to continue to type everything, well, maybe I'll do a video corrective criticism on some of the students. Maybe that would be pretty cool. But there is no sense of history for our kids when they're doing all this stuff. You get your knee-jerk reactions to these posts without full knowledge of the post. Okay? They'll say something that was ignorant or wrong, and the other person don't know really what the facts are, and they attack. It goes back and forth. I've seen that already quite a few times, and it really gets ugly trying to clean up. There's no educated research when these things are happening. They don't go. Snoops is a big one. Okay, Snoops has a lot of Mythbuster type things on there. Someone will put something out saying, hey, you know, this is what's happening nowadays, make sure you protect yourself. I always go to Snoops to bust the myth, and then I would send that link to the person that sent me the email or the post saying, hey, look, you might want to check your facts. So make sure you check your facts. Get educated. Decisions and mistakes that are already made are continuing to be repeated because, again, they have no sense of history. They don't go back and look at, hey, was this a problem before? How can we fix it? What was done to fix it the last time? And the learning process is undermined. Can't express that enough. We want to learn. We want to make sure that things go right. Well, sometimes it don't happen. So the consequences are more foreboding with quick and up-to-minute reactions. So you have to really prepare yourself for those kinds of things, especially with your teenagers, because they think they're quick. They'll go ahead and snap a comeback at you real quick. And if you don't know, you're left behind. So lack of social interaction, not spending enough time with their own kids of their age, their friends and everything, will then inhibit what they're going to do when they get older, right? And they're a hindrance of social growth due to teenage double talk. Again, you know, they'll say one thing, you try to come back on, and then they'll say, no, I didn't say that, or they'll try to double talk their way through some things. It's happened to me on quite a few occasions. So in conclusion, more responsible adults make better decisions. Now, these are children. They don't make all that great a decision. We have to make sure that we're helping them make those good decisions so they don't get hurt. So social media, it's a fantastic tool, and when used correctly, can be a very good thing. You have your news media, up-to-date stock quotes, you get information about health, you name it. It's a great tool, but it's only one tool in our social toolbox. Okay. To many of our younger generations, they're shying away from the physical contact, and they're using the social media. Well, you got to get back in there, and a handshake and a smile is still the best way to do business, I feel, because you get that emotion from that person right then and there, from the handshake, the smile, the look, speaking, the warmth of that kind of stuff. You know right then and there how things are going to go. And our kids are running to their phones and their computers to get their emotions out. Instead of talking to a person face to face, they'll go run out there, I don't like this, and this is all wrong. Just like the cards I showed you in the beginning. That was a simulation of a conversation that would go on Facebook. They're talking on a computer. They're not face to face. Oops, my bad is just not cutting it these days. We really have to get back to social physical contact. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed it.